Could it be? Could it be tonight, SmackDown, a stipulation being added to the nonsensical triple threat WrestleMania match? Roman Reigns, Sethington Rollins, CM Punky Brewster. Could it be a stipulation is being added? That would be the bare minimum of care being put into this matchup. The bare minimum is to give these three dudes a purpose. Why three dudes would be fighting for no reason. There's nothing on the line. There is no hatred big enough for these three to have a Mania match. There's just not. Punk and Rollins, okay. If you really want to dig up the history books and try to do Rollins and Roman again, okay. The three of them together is absolutely mind-bogglingly stupid. Roman Reigns was thrown out of the Rumble by Punk. He got angry. He speared Punk a couple of weeks ago. And all of a sudden, we're supposed to believe that there's so much hatred between Roman and Punk, it warrants a Mania triple threat. They have to get a contract signed. They have to do this match. The animosity with Punk and Roman is at an all-time high. Stop it. It was just manufactured a couple of weeks ago. Nobody's buying it. But the latest report we are getting is that tonight on SmackDown, WWE could be throwing out a stipulation. We believe, no, it's not going to be a Paul Heyman on a pole match. A winner gets Paul Heyman's services. You just got to retrieve Paul Heyman. We believe it's going to be the bare minimum, which is winner gets a championship matchup, right? A heavyweight title matchup. Some people believe, they should do it where night one, they main event, and the winner of that takes on the winner of Cody and Cena. Absolutely. That's so stupid. That's not fair to either. And I know. Trust me. All is fair in love, war, and business. So it's not about what's fair. But Cena and Cody shouldn't be having a match and then have to have another match right after just because Hunter Hearst Helmsley totally botched Roman, Punk, and Rollins. And now you have to put this massive stipulation that affects Cody and that makes no sense. That's an injustice to Cena and Cody. There's no reason for that. Nor should that match be main eventing any of the nights. That triple threat is bogus. Just because some fans are going to yell, "This is awesome," it's probably going to be clunky. It'll have its high spots, but it's probably going to be clunky. Just like the brawl that we saw last week. That brawl was clunky for 4 minutes. That was rough to watch. Especially when they all stopped and pointed at the sign individually. That was cringe. But no, Cena and Cody should not be affected by that. In that matchup, with nothing on the line, with no purpose, nobody's buying that there's that much animosity. Roman just got back. Nobody's buying it. And that's going to main event one of the nights? So if they do put a title opportunity, a number one contendership, something like that, so be it. Does it make sense? Of course not. Nothing about this makes sense. Roman being in this matchup makes no sense. It's like they just inserted him in Punk and Rollins' feud. That's all they did. They just transplanted this dude in there. So if you throw a number one contenders match, that also doesn't make sense. Roman Reigns hasn't had any match in 3 months. I think Royal Rumble was his last match. His last match was 3 months ago at the actual Rumble, in which, by the way, he lost. His one-on-one match was before the Rumble. It was the Netflix premiere. I believe he beat Solo Sikoa. That was it. So you're telling me you just got to have one match in like a 6-month time frame, and that earns you a title opportunity. You just have to win one matchup when you come back, Mania, and you get a title match. Why would Roman be in that position? But I know, we're thinking with logic and common sense. We're supposed to throw that to the wayside and just go, everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of the crew. Right? We're just supposed to say everything is awesome. Whatever they dish at you. Your coffee, it's $45. Awesome. Here's my credit card. Don't even question it. Don't question it at all. Just take whatever Hunter is serving up and come back for a second with your wooden bowl and wooden spoon. Please, sir, can I have some more? And H is there with his little chef's hat. Of course, I've been cooking a lot. Here's some more bullshit stew. And we're just supposed to accept it. You're not supposed to say, wait, Roman hasn't earned a title, so why would he just get to win one match over Punk and Rollins, by the way, not even one-on-one. Just a weird triple threat, and then he gets a title match. But that's what we're talking about. That's if they go that route, guys. But we are hearing that there is supposed to be a stipulation added on tonight's SmackDown. That is a taped show for most of us, unless you're in London, I believe. 4 p.m. Eastern time. That'll go live in London. For everybody else, we'll be catching it at the normal time slot. So it is on a few hours of a tape delay. It's so close for BC anyway, and most of you guys, that I don't think I'm going to even check out the spoilers. I'm just going to check out the show, do my due diligence on my notes, and hit you guys within the next 24 hours with the review. So we're not even going to check the spoilers. They just better entertain us, try to wrap WrestleMania up a little bit more tightly, right? Try to tighten things up, make some things, just some things, make more sense. Try to get Mania season semi closer to the track. I think it's too far gone. I don't think we're going to be able to put Mania back on track. The build, the lackluster, creative, all of it, non-creative, it's just too much. But can we get it tonight closer? In this upload, we are going to go over the full SmackDown preview for you guys, which includes 2 title matches. This close to Mania, 22 days away. All of the individuals I'm about to tell you guys about in these title matchups, they have nothing for Mania. So why are you putting all your eggs into a regular SmackDown 22 days beforehand when you're not bulking anything? You are not advertising, promoting, or having these individuals in anything for Mania, but you're having their title matchups 22 days before. We'll go over exactly what those matches are and just how ass backwards everything is. We'll go over the SmackDown preview for tonight, the 28th of March of the year 2025. I also have NXT's number for you guys and AEW's. Was AEW able to get even closer to NXT like they did last week? I will tell you this in the opening teaser. Both numbers, NXT and AEW, both went up. We'll talk about it. We'll talk Silver Lake having now majority ownership of Endeavor, what it means for Ari, what Ari is getting, you're not going to believe this, and what it means for TKO. We'll talk a former big WWE superstar coming back to the company before the year is over. That's the report we're getting. He was just in All Elite Wrestling. Sort of. It didn't work out. Would it work out if he came back? Might not be a question anymore. We're going to find out. This dude's on his way back. We'll talk about it. And Nash, old school WWE Champion, WWF Diesel, Kevin Nash, saying that Mercedes Moné, formerly known as Sasha Banks, is phoning it in AEW. I understand the booking is off. I understand a lot of people might not like the opponents that she's facing, but phoning it in, that is a huge accusation. Chucked at one of the greatest pro wrestlers that the female divisions have ever seen. Is that what she's doing? We'll have a conversation on it. It's all coming up. It is a packed, jacked, stacked, amped up for Friday, the 28th of March of the year 2025. You know what we gotta do. Grab your beverages, sit back, max, relax, while BC drops them facts. 44 dive, we rollin'. Let's do this. Yeah, so NXT this week, guys, pulled in 741,000 viewers, up from last week's 676. So I didn't put it up front, but let's do our Steiner math. Top of our dome pieces here, that's 24 plus 41, 51, 60, what, 65? That's upfront Steiner math for you. 65,000 viewer increase to see Stephanie Vaquer take on 2 individuals, Jada Parker for the heavyweight championship, the women's, and that North American women's championship with Fallon Henley. Stephanie brought in the numbers, man. I'm sure it wasn't just her, but she is going to get a lot of the credit, as she should. She was the big attraction. Double the matchups for Stephanie. 2 titles, both her titles on the line, and she pulled in 65,000 more viewers, 741. All Elite Wrestling on the flip side pulled in 663K, up from last week's 658. 5,000 viewer increase. Baby steps. It's not that big, but I always say on this channel, as long as you're going in the right trajectory and not the opposite. So 5,000 more, 663. So last week's, again, NXT number was 676. This is a good sign for if you're AEW, right? You're 13,000 away from last week's NXT number. If only NXT stayed there is what Tony Khan is thinking. My point is this, right? All Elite Wrestling has been getting trashed by the community for being the worst wrestling show on the planet the last several months especially, is what people have been saying. But if NXT is right there, then shouldn't that same energy be being talked about for NXT, right? If you're Tony Khan, I'm sure that's the argument. Now, you do have to estimate the Max numbers, right? AEW Dynamite on Max. Max does not distribute their numbers. So the only report we have is not actually verified, but the number, the ballpark anyway, that we are hearing is 16,000 viewers. So let's just say that's the case. You throw the 16 on top of the 663, Steiner math, what is that? 679K. If you add in some Max numbers, if you want to go with that 16. 679K. So then you would be above last week's NXT number, which was 676. 679. And now you close the gap to 60-some-odd thousand from NXT yet again. So if you add in the Max number, they are slowly getting back to that 700 mark, man. Baby steps. But NXT, I think you can say by a few thousand, has widened the gap a little bit more. Stephanie really pulled through. The women of NXT really pulled through. So that's the numbers for NXT and AEW this week. I want to move on to Silver Lake real quick. Silver Lake has majority ownership now of Endeavor. That's not a new story. That was several days ago that became official. They're still actually dotting some I's, crossing some T's. But for all intents and purposes, it's official. Silver Lake has purchased Endeavor, or a majority, more coffee, BC, majority ownership of Endeavor. So now they have taken the company private. That is an awesome thing. I love that because you have so much more freedom when you are a private company. Unfortunately, TKO will remain publicly traded. That sucks. That, of course, is the umbrella that WWE and UFC are currently under. It's the division of Silver Lake's Endeavor. So TKO remains publicly traded. Man, if WWE could be private, trust me when I say we would be getting a better product. And there's many reasons for that. Not enough time in this podcast to go over it. But check this, guys. Ari Emanuel, who's been repositioned assignment-wise. Totally different role now, obviously. But check out Ari. He is receiving a cash payout of $174 million in this transaction through this deal. And he also has another $300 million carrying over to this new endeavor, pun intended. Could you imagine that type of money in a cash payout? Could you imagine just going to the bank and taking out $174 million? First of all, that wouldn't happen. I don't know if banks even have that. A lot of this money is tied up in stocks and numbers that would just baffle you guys. So a lot of money is tied up. When you ever hear that somebody is worth so much, it's not physical cash. I don't want to take you guys to finance school, but trust me when I say they don't actually have the amount of money that you're hearing that they have. I hope that makes sense. But this is a cash payout. This is legit his money. It's not tied up. I just don't know any bank that's going to hand him $174 million. But my point is, could you imagine having $174 million just dropped off at you? What and then being told, oh, by the way, you have another $300 million carrying over. It's like, what would you do with that? Could you imagine? You can't even player hate. You got to be so happy for the dude, you know? I know I would be for you guys, man. If you guys just said, basically I just cashed in $174 million, I'd be like, dude, do it up. Rock out, man. Ari Emanuel is just living that life. What a payout. That's just wild, man. So anyway, Emmanuel has also just switched up positions. So like everything changes, man. A lot of people tried to kind of downplay this. Oh, it's not that big of a deal. WWE's still going to remain the same and XYZ. Guys, the whole business model changes. I don't think you really understand that. When the captain of the ship just went private, you're going to stay publicly traded. All the top positions are going to switch around, but everything will stay the same. No. So I'm just going to end the conversation there. The transaction is official. These positions have moved around. Payouts are being currently distributed. And we have to kind of check in on this in about a week or two. And probably we're going to be talking about a lot more changes. But Silver Lake now indeed has the majority ownership of Endeavor. And the changes are transpiring. Let's go to this one. This one's interesting, guys. Miro. Miro. Returning to WWE by the end of the year is the reports that are being distributed. Miro coming back by the end of the year. Formerly known as Rusev, obviously, in World Wrestling Entertainment. Now, my upfront question here would be where? Where are you bringing Rusev? And I truly mean this. And I like Rusev, Miro, whatever he's probably going to come back as Rusev. I like the dude. I thought that first go around with Lana, I thought there was something special there. When he was in that segment with The Rock in Brooklyn, I said, I know The Rock's taken back off to Hollywood, but if you don't do anything with Rusev and Lana after that, that is a massive botch on Vincent Kennedy McMahon, and they did nothing with that segment. They carried no momentum. They did not. It's almost like they crushed. Rusev got crushed after that segment with The Rock. I don't understand it. And then it wasn't long after where it was pretty much the writing was on the wall. Rusev and Lana were done in that company. So they go over to AEW and they were even worsely booked somehow. I don't know if there was just a disconnect with him and Tony Khan. I don't know if Miro's heart and head was in it anymore. That's a possibility. Maybe it's just not. But it was bad, and for the majority of his time in AEW, you couldn't see him. You can't see Miro. Did anybody want to see Miro? It ended so poorly in WWE. It went so badly in AEW. I'm sure a lot of fans at that point just kind of like a tax write-off. It was just a wrestling write-off. Oh, it's just Miro. It was not good. So then Miro finally separates from All Elite Wrestling, and now the reports are he will be back in WWE by year's end. Now, if that is true, I'm not saying he's not a talented dude. And by the way, he just reconciled with Lana. I know they divorced or broke up, but they have since gotten back together, I believe. That was a report I saw about a week or two ago. So if that's the case, you would get the package deal, right? You would get Rusev and Lana. Do you rekindle the old story, or do you try to do something new? Again, I think Rusev and Lana were so good together. Would Hunter know how to book them better than Vince? So far, what we're seeing is no, he doesn't know how to book anybody better. But if he comes back, where? How do you use this dude? Miro has shown you that he's kind of likes to do all these other things. He likes to play his video games and twitch out and do all these other things. He doesn't need pro wrestling. So the big question I would have is his heart still in it? Is his head still in it? Because if not, you're going to get a dude going out there kind of like Jade Cargill, just going through the motions. And that's sad to say because I really like Jade Cargill. And I really see bona fide superstar in Jade Cargill. But I'm looking at somebody that just looks like they don't want to be there, like they're just going through the motions. Would you just get that if Miro came back? Because you started to see that in AEW. Maybe that started in WWE. He was just like, dude, if you ain't going to book us correctly, why would I even give you 100%? And then when he got to AEW, he just got a boatload of money, probably clashed with Tony Khan. Got the same type, if not even worse, booking and said, fine, I can just sit at home and collect this money. So now he comes back. Is he going to be in a better attitude? Is Hunter going to book him properly? Guys, these are questions that have to be asked. Because if the answer is no to all of that, you're just taking another dude and you're clogging your roster even more. When it is clear that Hunter can't even book correctly the people he has already. on that roster. Look at Mania. Most of the talent 22 days away is still claiming they don't even know if they're going to be on the card. And you want to bring in Phoenix to join a Penta eventually. You want to bring in Aleister Black, Malachi. Again, love these dudes. I can't believe they were botched the first time around. I can't believe AEW would lose them, just like WWE did. But where are you putting Phoenix? Where are you putting Black? Where are you putting Miro, Rusev? You just can't add more. Meanwhile, the distribution center down in Florida, the Performance Center, keeps on dishing out more wrestlers by the day, by the hour, by the minute. They're tagging up all the wrestling schools across the world with WWE logos so they can get all the hot talent there. You don't need it all. They're about to purchase TNA Wrestling, most likely. If Vince McMahon, if there's not a coup there to have Vince do it. More. You're clogging your roster if you don't know how to use them properly, or you're not going to use them properly. You don't even care to think of creative for them. So Rusev will just be another dude on the roster. I'm just asking the questions because we already see a roster that is, at this point, getting frustrated with their lack of creative and poor-ass booking. And we got a Phoenix coming in. We got an Aleister Black coming back. And now Miro soon. Ricky Saints, he's going to stay in NXT forever, just like Ethan Page. They'll be up. And you already don't know how to book WrestleMania. What are you going to do by next year's Mania when you got 30 new talents that need a spot? I know. I'm BC, you're asking so many questions. You're thinking so many steps ahead. We got to chill for a second. No, that's what got us in this mess. We just chill and we just add more. And we think, hey, you know what? We'll deal with this later when we cross that bridge. The problem is you don't even realize you already crossed that bridge 86 times. You keep going backwards, recrossing the same bridge. Now's the time to talk about it. Then we go on to this one, man. Kevin Nash, Diesel, former WWF Champion, saying that Mercedes Moné is phoning it in All Elite Wrestling. Wow, where do I begin? I will be the first to absolutely say I agree. She needs a story that people can be captivated by. We already know she's one of the best wrestlers that we've ever seen in any female division, but we need a story that we can latch onto, right? We need a story that people can go, oh man, this is good. I actually have to see where this is going, how this is going to end up. Absolutely. Creatively, she needs more. You can say that you don't like the matchups, right? A lot of names that you probably never heard before. It's a lot of Japan talent. She loves working with them. Okay. But phoning it in means that when that bell rings, she's collecting the check. She's already thinking about cashing that in. Let's just get this match over with. It's the opposite. I'm seeing her want to have some of her best matches ever. If she's doing that or not, that's in the eye of the beholder. But I have yet to see one match with Mercedes Moné in AEW. I have yet to see one match where she's phoning it in. So I don't agree with that. I don't even understand it. I don't see what Nash is looking at. Again, you could say Tony Khan is phoning it in creatively. Or even if you believe the story that Mercedes has ultimate creative in her contract. So maybe you're thinking that she's phoning it in creatively, which also is not the case. She just knows what she wants to do in her run. And what she wants to do is actually have the wrestling matches she wasn't able to have in WWE. Again, as a huge Mercedes supporter, I'll be the first to admit that doesn't translate to television and bringing in casual fans and getting fans invested, because you are having matchups with a lot of individuals a lot of fans do not know. You are not actually putting epic storylines attached to the matchups, so you're not really invested into any real creative. I'll be the first to admit that. But this is what Mercedes went there for. That type of wrestling freedom. To have the matches she wants to have with the talent she wants to have. She wants to push herself. That's the whole thing. It's the opposite of phoning it in. We just don't like the booking or the creative. I get it. But to say that somebody like Mercedes is phoning it in, even if you don't like Mercedes, and there's no shortage of those people, I get it. But even if you don't like Mercedes, that's something I would think Bubba Ray Dudley would say. Bubba. It's so stupid that Bubba would say that, right? If he takes 5 seconds to get off of Charlotte's right tit, Charlotte Flair, because he's so far up her ass, I don't know if he'll even be unlodged by WrestleMania. But I can't believe that Nash would say that. Maybe a little too much. Maybe a little too much smoky. I don't know, man. But phoning it in, Mercedes. No, you may not like what she's doing. I get it. But wow. It's the opposite, Kev. It's the opposite, dude. She's bringing it because that's what she wants to do. She wants to have wrestling matches and with other really good wrestlers and push the envelope and go to all these different territories and countries. And it's what she wants to do. I fully agree. I wish there was more stories and creative and we could be invested more. But she wants to put the emphasis on wrestling. That doesn't mean she's phoning it in, though. So maybe there's another excerpt to that, by the way. That's just the report that I saw. Maybe he goes on to talk more about the creative, right? That could be. So I'm not going to totally slam Kev Nash here because maybe there is more to that. But that became a big story because people just ran with that line. So I'll diffuse that from the jump. That if we're just going by that one line, absolutely wrong. It's the opposite. She's not phoning it in. But yeah, just like I said about Hurt Syndicate, it's awesome they're racking up W's and it's awesome they're racking up titles. But they also need stories. That's the only way this works, man. Because especially in the States, it's all about, it's a television show. It's not just pro wrestling, it's a television show. You have to captivate your audience, man. You have to put them in storylines that we care about. It's the only way they can truly get elevated. The wrestling matches as wrestlers, yeah, we get it. That's important. But so is the stories, man. So is captivating your audience. So just a conversation that kind of needs to be had. Because there's definitely people phoning it in. Trust me, a lot of them are in WWE with guaranteed contracts and they get to play video games all day. They don't care about their creative. And when they get fired, they're like, huh? What? I was guaranteed. Well, you didn't put any investment into your character, into anything you were doing. You didn't try to fight back on creative or lack thereof. What'd you think was going to happen, man? When your stock hits so low and you're no longer a value to us because you let us just walk over you. You were collecting our checks. It was just fine when you were letting us walk over you. Now that we want to get rid of you, now all of a sudden, but wait, I'm worth so much more. You didn't show us that. That's another conversation. Coffee's really kicking in, so let's get it moving so I don't keep you guys here all day. I want you guys to check out Smackdown tonight. So let's get into that, I guess, right? Yeah, let's get into SmackDown. Let me get a swig of coffee. We'll talk SmackDown's preview tonight because there's 2 title matches, and I just can't fathom that they're doing this 22 nights away from Mania when you haven't even gotten one full night of Mania booked yet. And you're booking title match after title match after title match. This whole road to WrestleMania has been nothing but title matches. There was a string of like 5 title changes within like 17, 18 days. Just recently, every show was ending with new champions. Now we have 2 title matches. This is the road to WrestleMania. Hunter thought he could just hide behind brawls and championship changes and go out of the country for 3 weeks, right? So we'll have hot crowds because the crowds outside the states are usually... If we hide behind all the bells and whistles, this is going to look like the best WrestleMania season of all time. Brawls, title changes, and hot crowds. Nah, bro, we saw right through it from day one, from moment one. Wait till you guys hear what's planned for tonight. SmackDown 3/28/25. LA Knight defends his United States Championship against Braun Strowman. Not only the fact that that's a title match, 22 days before Mania, when Braun has nothing for Mania. LA Knight currently has no program for Mania. So let's promote a title match 22 days before on SmackDown, of all things. That's smart. Instead of investing into a story for LA Knight to get us pumped up for a title match at Mania, this is what they've been putting their eggs into the last 2 weeks. A Braun Strowman title match in the middle of a SmackDown. Cool story, bro. And I can't even say that's it. The tag titles, the Street Profits will defend against Pretty Dudley. That's right, because it's just as much of a dud, this tag team, as Bubba Dudley. Pretty Dudley is going for the tag titles tonight. As much as they're duds, why not try to build them over the course of a couple months? And hey, at Mania, have a tag team title match for the titles. What a concept. Instead, you're going to get a schmaz, you know it. DIY is going to be in the WrestleMania match, Motor City, all the tag teams, man. It'll be like a fatal four-way or something, which means one team has to be booted. Garza, Humberto, or are they Monday Night Raw? I don't even know anymore. I don't even know who's the tag title holders on the red brand. Is it still War Raiders? I don't know. That's how irrelevant these title matches are, these titles, these champions. 2 title matches tonight. All right. And then Mac, right? This is the big promotion tonight. Mac appears. Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre appears. What is he, a ghost? What do you mean he appears? Do we have to wave a magic wand? Expecto Petroleum! There's Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre appears. And then what? Is he going to have a brawl with Damian because it's on site? Cool story, bro. And then we have, of course, the contract signing. Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Sethington, Rollins. We are hearing, as I said in the cold open, top of the show, we are hearing that a stipulation is going to be involved in that contract. There's something in the contract that is going to spice this up a little bit because the suits and ties are hearing everybody, all the rumblings about how stupid this match is and how it makes zero sense. And there's no title on the line and there's no rhyme or reason. So we are hearing they're going to spice it up a little bit. What can they really do other than what would really be fun? Paul Heyman on a pole match. What are they going to do, really, guys? Are you going to, make this a number 1 contenders match for a championship? I said this at the top of the show. How does Roman deserve a title match? His last match was the Rumble 3 months ago, and he lost. That's it. He gets to come back, win 1 match, and go for a championship? No logic, no common sense. So they back themselves into a corner, guys. They pigeonholed themselves, right? They're in a pickle. And now they have to put some type of... Who knows how they're going to spice it up? We'll find out, right? We're going to let it play out for sure. BC will be reviewing this. I hope there's a way they can rectify at least a piece of this. Putting a face versus a face versus a face in a matchup, a triple threat with nothing on the line and no rhyme or reason. Trying to sell us that they all just can't stand one another so badly that they all have to wrestle in one match at Mania. But the problem is Punk and Roman don't hate each other like that at all. They don't. They just actually started having animosity within the last 2 weeks because Punk at Rumble threw Roman over the top rope. That's it. And then the last 2 weeks, they did. All of a sudden, Roman speared Punk. And Punk's like, dude, that was the rules of the match, man. What's your problem? And then they brawled. And then Nick Aldis is like, this has to be a Mania match. What the world? Otis and Chad Gable, by that measure, has more of an animosity than this. And that should be the Mania match. And if we're making random triple threats, add somebody random, right? Tozawa. No. Otis, Gable, and Lex Luger. That's right, Lex Luger. That's what I said. I know. He can roll down to the ring, and he could probably chase Chad Gable, run over Otis. Who knows? Lex Luger, man. That would be more entertaining than anything that is on the card right now for WrestleMania. I would watch Lex Luger chasing Chad Gable and Otis in the wheelchair. I would be 85% more excited than anything on this show. I mean, if we're making random triple threats, add Lex Luger into this. Otis and Gable. Because we never got a payoff on that. We got that shitty little... Well, I don't even know. You can't even call that a match. That was it. And then they just moved Chad Gable and Alpha, or what are they, American Made? They moved them over to the Wyatt feud. They never did anything with Otis, Maxine, and Tozawa. This is what I mean. There is no long-term booking with Hunter Helmsley. It's short-term box booking, and everybody gets hurt in the process. Hunter's booking is a detriment to everybody on the roster, and this triple threat is no different. This does not benefit. I can't believe I'm agreeing with Erica Bischoff. But even he used logic and common sense for a minute. And he's like, this doesn't benefit Roman, it doesn't benefit CM Punk, and it doesn't benefit Seth Rollins. You think? Even Erica Bischoff can't hide from the truth. This is stupid. You could put 10 stipulations on this. If there's not a rhyme or reason and a title on the line, then none of it matters. Good luck tonight. We'll be watching. We'll see if they can spice it up. And then you got to ask the question, is it going to end in a brawl? Are they going to brawl? After the contract signing, are they all going to... They're going to brawl. I don't know if that was Jim Ross or Vince McMahon, but they're going to brawl. Is that what we're going to get tonight? Are we going to get the stipulation? Something to spice this up? Are we going to care about any of this, right? These are the questions I'm asking, and I'm going to have them answered in tomorrow's review. These are this is what we need answers to tonight. And we're going to find out, man. So that is your SmackDown preview for tonight. The big contract is what everybody's eyes are on. Are they going to find a way to get people to care about this, or is it just going to be another clown show segment where when it's done, you just want to stuff them back in the clown car? You ever see a clown car? It's just when it stops, like 100 people get out of it, all these clowns, and you're like, how did they all fit in there? Right? Because that's how they're booking the ladies, too, in their triple threat. Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Io Sky. So all three of them get out of the same car. At this point, put everybody that's going to be on Mania that we know of so far, put them all in the clown car. Hunter Helmsley at the wheel. Just unreal. Anyway, that's what I got for you guys, man. Listen, I want to get this out to you as soon as possible so you guys can do what you got to do afterwards and still catch SmackDown so that we're all on the same page when we go over it within the next 24 hours. Guys, yesterday's upload, a very big amped up that went up late last night, that is currently on the channel for all channel members, right? I believe we put that in the membership category. So if you are a channel member, check that out, man. We go in depth on how there's only 20 some odd days away and only 6 matchups announced for Mania. And you'll see the thumbnail. Oops, I forgot to book Mania with Hunter Hearst Helmsley on the thumbnail. You guys were loving that. I'm glad I can entertain you because this company's not going to. So if you're a channel member, check it out, man. If you're not, make sure you become one. Check out the content. Really huge upload yesterday. Glad you guys really enjoyed that, man. Until next time, and there will be that next time, BC and the unit saying, check you. Salud!